This is Nick Baisley from FilmSnobbery here at the final day of the Orlando Film Festival. We're here at the Plaza Cinema Cafe. I'm here with the two people involved with I Remember. Introduce yourself to the folks, guys.
Shawn McDaniels, I co-directed the film.
And Ray Gilliard, writer-director.
And producer.
Writer, director, multi-hyphenates over here. So, as far it's not what we do, it's what we know. Where did you guys come up with the idea for this particular film, and what was the inspiration in getting in making film?
Well, it all started in a doghouse. My wife bought me a doghouse. Most guys might have one, a man cave,
Right.
And it was something I always wanted to do. And as a kid, I wanted to be a stuntman or make movies. And it never happened because you go the path in life that is least resistant, the correct path. And, you get to a point in life, you got 3 kids and a wife, and you want to do something that you were meant to do, I guess.
I didn't make the decision to join the film because I had a few beers. I actually joined it because it's a great story, and I saw the seriousness of the focus, and the focus was homelessness, loneliness, the issue of the have and the have-nots, and how we took this kid and stripped him of everything that he knew, every form of support, by way of his parents leaving him and his sister, and he's on a mission, and we wanted people, it's not what we do, it's what we know, basically, and that's Ray came up with that. But if I may, it was all about, it's instinctive for us to survive. And if we wanted people to realize that crime doesn't have a color. It doesn't have, it's situational. Oftentimes, and of course you have your greedy criminals, but oftentimes it's situational. We want people to see it doesn't matter who you are and where you come from. If your situation is what it is, then you will ultimately end up making decisions to survive. And this kid here, he was only going to take but so much, And the movie climaxes to the point where when some of the criminals involved, they start interfering with what he holds sacred, and that's what's in his book bag. And then after that, he makes a decision.
So, as a first-time filmmaker, you're working with kids. A lot of people say that that's difficult. How was it working with children in your first movie? Was it easy? Did you is it a lot more slower paced because you have to wait for them to either learn a line, or you have to wait for them to act a certain way, or get a certain emotion out there? Tell me a little bit about the process.
Well, the first thing, when I started this, I read a lot of books, and there were a couple of rules in those books. And the first one was never work with animals, and the second one was never work with kids. And these are my kids, so it was a little bit different than working with regular child actors. I would suppose, because we would they went out because Daddy wanted to go out and film. And we would get out there and film, and I would have long talks with both of them, about the scenes. The movie's basically about them losing their parents, and I would go out and talk to them and say, if you lost your parents, how would you feel? And so I was constantly trying to get them in the mood of the scenes. And a lot of times with Buck, the star of the film, he would, there were scenes where I had to get him motivated because he was getting ready to kill somebody, or he was getting ready to get in trouble, or whatever. And I would have to, we would send crew members out and say, hey, let's wrestle with him a while and get him tired. And so there was a scene where he was breathing hard, and he didn't, well, there was a scene where we had to get him ready after somebody got killed. And he just was not in the mood. He just was not in the mood. He was just, happy-go-lucky Griff. And so I told one of the crew members, I said, go over there in the bushes and wrestle with him a little bit. So he went over there and wrestled with him and got him mad, actually. And he was sitting there mad and, breathing hard. And so you have to try different things, especially when you're working with children.
There was a lot of, get over here, sit down. There's a few that, see, even looking right now, he knows. It was, but the truth of the matter is that it was really a great experience. He made it easy for us. It could have been a lot more difficult for us. And he listened after maybe like the third time. But he has like natural talent, to be honest with you.
Don't make me count to 3, boy. So you're here at the Orlando Film Festival. Hopefully you guys are having a great time here. Has the audience reacted to the movie in the way that you guys hoped that they would?
Let me answer that one. Ray is his worst critic. Ray did a lot of work, and he drained himself, and he drained the people around him, and people that love him, and he just I'm happy for him to be here because this is his baby. He did a great job, and for him to hear the comments, he needed to hear that like any filmmaker would. And but I appreciate even being brought into it and being able to direct film for the first time. But Ray needed to hear that, and as I told him before, the movie is theirs now. As the director of The Frost stated early on, the movie no longer belongs to us, and so, and I think he's on board with that, and but it felt good. It felt good.
No, in watching the film, I stood to the side, and I hadn't seen it on the big screen yet, and I hadn't seen anybody's reaction to it. And I heard, in the right places where people were supposed to laugh, they laughed, and where they were supposed to get sad, they got sad. I thought it was everything that I tried to make the film, I saw in the audience's response.
Good.
So one last question for you. Now, hopefully you made this film. I hope you're going to go out and make another one, because if you're not making films, then I can't interview you, and then I have no job. So, please, if you're going to make your next film, what would you do differently in your next film, or what would you improve upon, or how would you approach? Would you approach your technique differently? Probably the production size or scale. What would you do differently on your next film?
The next film that we're working on is called What You Ignore Will Hurt You, and it's a movie about generational curses, some of those bad habits that we all get from the generations, the previous generations, and how we ignore them. We will be a lot more organized with respect to directing, and it was a learning process for us, and then really this is truly the perfect example of an independent film, where it was really fueled by passion and God's blessing. The characters fit, the actors fit the characters, and I think, I don't know, I would use the same crew. But I don't know what, we're still going to use the same red camera.
I don't think I would change anything from what we did from the first film. Basically because, we have a great crew. And we're doing this for the art of it, not the money. You can't go into independent film thinking you're going to make a lot of money, because you won't. You have to do it for the love of it. Right. And so we go out there and we try to have a good time, and if it's not perfect, then it's not perfect. But this first film we're happy with. When we get to the second one, I'm sure we'll be the same way, because it's telling a story, and it's all about the art, not about the money.
That's right.
Well, I want to congratulate you guys on getting here in the Orlando Film Festival and remaining independent and keeping true to that spirit. Mike, where are you guys heading with I Remember Next?
That would probably our publicist is Monique Mack and Monique Harrison, Monique McDaniels. I'm sorry. Oh, we're engaged now.
Oh, I heard.
Yeah.
I heard. I said congratulations.
That's right. I appreciate it. But we're gonna keep on submitting, and we're gonna keep pushing the film. I love it, and it's a part of me. And my kids were in it as well. They had a small part in there. So I mean, it's about affecting change through film, through the art of filmmaking, and we're gonna keep on doing it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate you guys taking the time to sit down with us. I know you guys have been busy here, and I'm glad that you were able to have an enjoyable experience here in Orlando, as well as hopefully you had an enjoyable little bit of time here sitting down with me under the hot lights.
Thank you.
Thank you, sirs.
Thank you.